I've made the cabinet for the bathroom vanity, but it doesn't have any drawers yet, so I'm going to make a total of 8 drawers with 4 on each side. After jointing the boards, I will cut them to the correct width for the drawer boxes and drawer fronts. The top drawer will be 3 inches high, the 2 in the middle will be 4 inches high, and the bottom drawer will be 7.5 inches high. Those are the sizes of the drawer boxes. Each drawer front will be 1 inch higher, so that fills the entire cabinet opening, which is 22.5 inches high. I was lucky to have one piece of white oak that was a little more than 8.5 inches wide for the drawer fronts for the 2 bottom drawers. I'm going to use the quarter method for joining the drawer boxes. This is a great system because you can use the same setup to cut the dado and the rabbet that form the locking joint, and also for the groove that holds the plywood. This is also known as the half method because you can use any thickness of material that you want, provided that the thickness of the drawer box is twice the thickness of the drawer bottom. Since I'm using 1/4 inch plywood, I need to mill the drawer sides to be exactly 1/2 inch thick. You can see it's a little thick, so I'll sand everything down a bit more. Now with my miter saw and a stop block in place, I will cut all of the lengths for the drawer boxes. The cabinet opening is 12.25 inches wide, and it's about 16 or 17 inches deep. I'm using 15-inch Silice Futura push-to-open drawer slides. According to the instructions, I need to deduct 5/8 of an inch to get the drawer box width, and then to get the length to cut the front and back pieces, I need to deduct another 1/2 inch because of how the joinery fits together. So I'm cutting the drawer front and back to be 11 1/8 inches wide and the drawer sides to be 15 inches long. I need to set my dado stack to be exactly 1/4 inch thick. You'd think that by sandwiching 2 1/8 inch blades together that you'd get 1/4 inch, but the 2 blades overlap ever so slightly, so I need to add a couple of shims. Remember, the setup needs to be exact for this to work properly. I'm going to add a piece of 1/4 inch MDF to my fence to give me the ability to adjust by 1/4 inch without moving the fence. Then I'll use a 1/4 inch setup block and move the fence in so that the blade just kisses the setup block. It shouldn't be too tight. Next, I'll adjust the blade height to also be 1/4 inch high, and I do that with the same setup block, and I use another setup block horizontally to feel the top of the blade and make sure that it's exactly the right height. Now I can make the first cut on the drawer side. This is exactly 1/4 inch away from the end and 1/4 inch deep. One way to make the next cut for the drawer side is to use the same setup, but hold the piece vertically while making the cut. But this has its challenges because it's more difficult to hold the piece vertically, and unless you have a zero clearance throat insert for the dado stack, there's nothing to support the piece as you're cutting it. So I'm simply adding one more piece of 1/4 inch MDF so that I can run the piece horizontally. Although technically I am changing the setup, I'm not moving the fence, so it's very easy to do without impacting the setup. Now I can remove that one piece of MDF, put the setup back the way it was, and cut all of the drawer sides. Then I'll put the second piece of MDF back in place and cut all of the drawer fronts and backs. You might be wondering why I have 2 pieces of MDF and not just have one. That's because for the Silice drawer slides, the bottom of the drawer must be 1/2 inch higher than the bottom of the drawer sides. So now I can remove both pieces of MDF, and I know I'm exactly 1/2 inch away from the blade. You have to be careful when cutting the groove in the fronts and backs because it can be counterintuitive to cut on the opposite side to where you made the first cut. Now it's time to glue up the 8 drawers. And I'll let those sit overnight. The Silice Futura drawer slides, like many others, need to have a 1 5/16 inch notch cut into the back of the drawer box following the instructions, and the blade needs to be set 1/2 inch high. Next, I have to drill a 6mm or 1/4 inch hole 7/16 inch above the notch and 9/32 inch from the drawer slide. I don't have a 9/32 inch setup block, so I'm going to use a 1/4 inch, which is close enough, I think. Now I can install the drawer slides. It's simply a matter of installing these clips, and then the drawer slide pushes right in. Next, I'll cut the lengths of the drawer fronts. I'll ease the edge with a 1/16 inch roundover bit, then sand and apply a urethane finish. Oh, and one last thing. A viewer from Canada named Marco Bucci suggested that I put a QR code on one of the 2x4s in the bathroom that somebody could discover 30 years from now when they tear out all of my work. It's too late for that, but I love the idea, so I'm going to follow his suggestion and put a QR code on the bottom of one of the drawers. I can't have a QR code linked to this video because the video is not uploaded yet, so it's kind of a catch-22. So I'll link the QR code to the playlist where I have all of these home renovation videos, including this bathroom. I'm not sure if the QR code or even YouTube will exist in 30 years, but it sure would be fun to see the reaction of someone who discovers this many years in the future.